You didn't tell me you wanted to be in the intro today.
I know, you miss them so much.
Okay. Oh, you're stinky. We're back. The headless YouTuber doing headless planty things with her trusty Pug Pudge. So today, as the title says, I'm going to be propagating some anthuriums. I'm not sure if I've ever propagated an anthurium on this channel before. I don't remember actually ever doing it, so I thought there are some anthuriums behind me that need to be repotted and propagated, so I just figure I should just make a video out of it. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Do you want to tell your friends goodbye before I get started? Say bye, friends. See you later. You go take a nap? Okay. Let me So I've got a couple plants here that need to be repotted. The first one is this Anthurium King of Spades that has been in moss for a super long time, and I've been wanting to get it into soil. I would love to propagate this plant because I would really want a smaller one if I could, but I don't know if the chunk is long enough, so we're gonna have to unearth it and see. Another one that is not really like in the best place to be repotted right now because a new leaf is still hardening off, but it's just way too big in my exo. You can see it's being like totally stunted because it's all squished between other plants. But there is a new leaf hardening off, and then it's pushing out an inflow, and I will actually be pollinating it this week if I'm not too late. I've waited so long. It still looks pretty sticky, so I am going to be documenting the pollination process. But this is just an anthurium hybrid, and I'm going to attempt to hybridize it with a dark forgetii. And then the last one that I'm going to attempt to propagate is this Anthurium Dark Phoenix. And I didn't really have any intention of propping this, but I do think the stem is quite long, and my friend Carmen really wanted a prop of it, so hopefully I can give it a chop today. I think what I'm gonna start with is the King of Spades. Sellers have also been calling this the Red Magnificum. I don't know the exact parentage, but I do believe Mag is one of the parents, and it's done pretty well in moss. I haven't lost that many leaves since the import. This was actually one of the import leaves. So yeah, it's held on pretty strong now, but it is definitely time for a repot. I need to get a bowl. The roots look pretty good. Well, roots look pretty good. This is just a mixture of sphagnum moss, cocoa husk, lechuzepon, and perlite. What the heck is wrong with Pudge? And it's taken really well to this substrate since I imported it, but I do think that it probably should have been moved to soil a while ago. And also because this moss is pretty aerated, it does dry out really fast. I have let this dry out completely way too many times, and like ever since I let it dry out too much, this leaf hasn't like wanted to uncurl where it used to be like that. And yeah, it's just, I've been mistreating a lot of my anthuriums, unfortunately, and I thought originally I could have all of my anthuriums growing in my largest exo, but they're way too big, so I'm gonna have to re-strategize and figure out another game plan. I truly have been contemplating just getting rid of all of my exos and my Millsbow wide and just filling this plant room with a big tent, like a huge tent, but I just can't get myself to do it. Like, I know that it would be better for me and for my plants to grow them in a large tent for the space, the environmental conditions, but I love coming in my plant room and seeing my plants. I get happy when I walk in here, and I just feel like I wouldn't get that sort of satisfaction if I just walked in my plant room and there was a big black tent, you know, like always having to open it and see what's going on. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do yet, but I do know that the size of my anthuriums are becoming an issue. And as much as I'd love to grow my plants as big as possible, I think that space is something I'm always trying to factor in, which is why I'm always chopping my plants. I did have this sort of crazy idea to move all of my anthuriums to my plant shelf. I was inspired by my friend Amanda, who grows pretty much all of her plants outside of greenhouses, and they're all so big and thriving. It's just my plant shelf has pretty low shelves between each shelf, like the space between each shelf. So if I did that, I would need to replace that shelf with ones that have a larger space in between each shelf. And I don't know. I'm also not ready to like part ways with the shelf that I have in my living room now, because I actually really love it. I get compliments on it all the time. It's a few years old now, and I just feel like it's blended in with every single piece of furniture that has come in and out of this house. So lots of like ideas flowing through my mind. I'm just not quite sure what I'm ready for yet, basically. Ideally, I would love to like get into a larger space where my plant room is bigger and I could keep all of the like exos that I have now and a big tent, or like have a basement for a tent, but I just don't have that luxury right now, nor will I have that luxury for many years, because my husband and I are not really that close to being able to buy property. And if we did buy property, we'd probably end up in another condo or something and not like a detached home. So it's kind of the just reality of living here in Vancouver, unless you're like super wealthy or you come into money, or you know, you have a wealthy family, or you're just making lots of money. It's really, really hard to buy detached right now. The prices are wild, the competition is wild. Everything is selling for an insane amount above market price, and I just can't. We could barely afford it when it was normal price, but now in this crazy market, there's no way we'd stand a chance. I think that one of the biggest things I wrestle with like all the time is feeling like I'm being left behind by like my peers, people I went to high school and college with that have these big old houses and are just super successful and just kind of seem like they have everything going for them. But I also just have to keep reminding myself that I have always known that I was going to go a different route in life the second that I decided I wasn't going to finish college. I tried. Honestly, I have my degree in something super freaking pointless. I've mentioned it before. I have a degree in fashion design and merchandising, and I was a visual merchandiser for a few years, but I just realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I'm not even using that degree. I have the student loans for it though, that's for sure. And then I tried going back to school for business. I got pretty far in my program, but I dropped out because my anxiety was too much for me. I couldn't handle public speaking. That was the last class that I needed to transfer to my like final program or whatever. And I couldn't do it. Went to class, saw the syllabus, absolutely freaked out, and I just can't do it. So when I made that conscious decision that I was going to pursue a career where I could essentially employ myself, I knew that I was kind of picking a road that would be not more difficult, because, you know, my peers who have their jobs and whatever, like they've worked really hard to get where they are. I just mean, I made the conscious decision to not rely on a stable paycheck. It's that much harder to like make a name for yourself and save money. And you know, like before, when I had a 9-to-5, my husband and I were just depositing into our savings like clockwork, and we could almost estimate the exact time that we'd be able to like purchase. And then I quit that job, and now it's just kind of like whenever we have a good month where we can save, that's what we do. And you know, I just thought by 33, I'm turning 33 this year, that I would have owned property by now. I just kind of imagined myself in a different place. but also where I am now, just career-wise, and like what I'm doing, like the YouTube thing and the plant stuff, I never in a million years thought that I would be able to do this. So I am proud of myself in that sense, but I think it's just that it's the human part in me that just kind of always wonders, what if I did just finish school and just keep a stable job? Like, would I have the house now? Would I have everything that I had on my to-do list? But if I did, like, would I be as happy as I am now? Because although I am freaking depressed, I look at my life and everything that I have, and I am very grateful. I know that I'm very blessed, and I am happy. And so it's just this constant like battle in my head, you know, that you can't just keep dwelling on that checklist that you had and that timeline that you had, and wrenches are thrown in everyone's paths, and just gotta roll with it. And that's one of the main reasons why I started my YouTube. And I've been pretty upfront about that from the beginning, that I started this YouTube, yes, to share my love of plants and sort of extend this hobby into a different space. But it is like, I do make money from it. I do consider this my job, not full-time, pretty much full-time, but not like officially full-time. And it's because I really want a house. I really want my own space. I don't want to worry about vacuuming past 8 p.m. so that I don't disturb my neighbors. I want Pudge to have his own backyard, and that's just kind of like my one goal. I just want a house. And I don't even remember why I was talking about this. This chunk is not as large as I thought. So you can see here, I mean, like, it doesn't look super short, like it goes all the way down here, but if I chopped where there were no leaves, I would be left with a pretty small space underneath the last leaf. So I don't want to risk it rotting and me losing the whole plant. So I'm gonna make a call, and I'm not going to be propagating this, but I will repot it. Oh, this is way too small. Why did I choose a pot exactly the same size? Are you okay, Charmaine? Technically, this is like a size larger, but it seems so huge. But I mean, I guess it is time, like, fits pretty perfectly. Dang it. Ah. Hate drainage holes. Ah. I really hate repotting with drainage. Oh, it's everywhere. I'm gonna use some landscape fabric. Okay, let's start over. Sorry, I know that this is supposed to be a propagating anthuriums video, but I don't actually know who can be propagated right now. I do know that my hybrid, the one that's pushing out the inflow, can be chopped because that stem is so long. But that might be the only one that I am able to propagate right now. So it's actually, I'm gonna sound like such a brat right now, but it's actually 3 o'clock. Is there hair in my bra? Oh, there is. You know when you can feel hair in your bra and it's just tickling you? So it's 3 o'clock, and I usually take a nap from 2 to 5. There is something about midday naps during those hours that I swear I sleep better than I sleep at night. It is like the most deep, relaxed sleep ever, and then I wake up feeling so refreshed. And the reason that I take a nap from those hours is because I work starting from usually 8 or 9, and then I work till about 2, and then I take my nap. Or if I don't nap, I just like lay in bed and watch a movie. And then I work from 5 or 6 to, I don't know, anywhere between 10 and midnight, or on the weekend sometimes even a little bit later. But my husband and I have really been like binge watching shows lately. Like we finished Yellow Jackets in like, I think we finished it in like 2 or 3 days. And obviously we've been watching Euphoria. And then we just started watching The After Party on Apple TV. And then we're gonna start watching Yellowstone. We've been like fighting that, but everyone is saying that it's like one of the greatest shows, and now we have FOMO, so we wanna like watch it too. My shirt's stuck on my boob. I never used to be the type to like just lay in bed and watch TV for hours, but my husband has really like made it a point to make me sort of slow down and stop kind of buzzing all over the house all the time. And now I get it. I enjoy just laying in bed now and not doing anything but binge watching TV. And it's like you have something to look forward to together, and it's just nice after a long day of work. So anyway, those are the shows we're watching. Some people had mentioned to watch Bridgerton. I can't get into it. I can't. It's not my thing. I started watching a little bit of it and I was like, immediately no. Immediately no. Same thing with, what's that show? It's like Anna in Paris or something. Again, immediately no. Anything that has to do with the fashion industry or fashion anything is just a no for me. After working in like the fashion industry for 10 years, I'm over it. It's so not my, no, just no. If you're in the fashion industry, you're built different. I cannot, I'm too soft for that. You have to be like, you have to have a certain kind of personality and a certain kind of like, what's the word? Just gotta be built different. Not everybody can survive in the fashion world, and I was definitely one that got eaten up and spat out. Well, I kind of spat myself out. I just realized that I didn't love it. Plants, way more my speed. Homeschool stuff, way more my speed. I've just kind of realized over the years that I'm just like a grandma trapped in a 30-year-old body. It's dusty. Heck. So I'm just gonna use some of the moss that it was in to top it. Fingers crossed it takes to life in soil, because I would be very sad if this thing threw a tantrum. It's one of my favorites. Let's do one that I know can be propagated for sure. This is what we are working with. There's actually no added perlite in this, which is why it's so stinking heavy. I haven't really been that great with replying to YouTube comments as usual, but I just wanted to thank you guys for all the super, super sweet comments you left on my last week of plant to-dos for me and my husband. And yeah, it's, you know, it's getting better. Obviously, like, grief and mourning is like an up and down, like, roller coaster. You have good days and then bad days. Ooh, that's mushy. I think a lot of these are import roots, but we'll get it cleaned up. And we've just been staying busy and just, ew, it's splattered. We've been staying busy. We've been like spending a lot of quality time together, and the days have been better, that's for sure. And we've had way more sunny days, and it seriously like changes my mood so drastically when the sun is out. Got lots coming up though. I'm excited, but I'm also pretty anxious. We are going to California in April, not to visit my family, but my best friend is getting married, so we're gonna go down to SoCal for a few days. And then in May, we are gonna go to Mexico and just kind of spend a week there to like reset, decompress, just be in the sun. I do feel a bit anxious about traveling again, like really traveling, not just like going back home to California, because we haven't gone anywhere during the pandemic besides driving to California. Like we have been like super isolating since the start of this thing, but like we're triple vaxxed now and we literally got COVID, so really we're like quadruple vaxxed. I feel like it's just time for us for that kind of thing. Like we just need to go somewhere. We didn't want to go too far. We didn't want to leave the continent, so we just felt like Mexico would be good. This is really gross. Lots of good stuff happening, but definitely a lot of like mushiness happening. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up really quick and just kind of chop off anything that is soft. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna chop first. So, oh my gosh, I'm scared because all of these roots are on the bottom of this chunk, which it grew from. So you can see that it started on this chunk right here. Can you see? Started on that chunk and then it pushed out of an auxiliary node. And that's where my new plant is coming from. And I've got lots of new roots up here to like really get the top rooted. But again, this plant is pushing out a new leaf. It's putting all this energy into this. And I just don't want to take the entire root system away and like deprive it of precious nutrients, but at the same time I'm already here. Think, Charmaine. Okay, so I could, because ideally I would actually just like to chop it right here, but like there are no roots on the top part, and I'm not confident that this plant will be able to sustain this new leaf plus the inflow with no root system without these guys. I actually see there's an auxiliary bud here that's woken up. There's new growth popping out. So I almost wonder if I can just chop the bottom off. Oh my gosh, this is so dicey, dude. So I think I found a place that I can cut. It's not the greatest cutting, but it will do. I'm gonna cut it right here. Ah, sticky. I'm gonna cut it right here where it curves, and then, oh, I actually have multiple. Oh no. I just found another one that woke up. Crud. Okay, I'm just gonna cut it. I tried this new angle. You can tell you've probably never had this view before, but it's really hard to like show you up close what I'm doing. It's easier when I've got the camera next to me, but I've just been experimenting. I felt like I could get the best light here, but now I've sacrificed the angle. Oh my gosh, if I chop now, I'm gonna chop into this thing. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna just YOLO. Let's see if I can get closer for you guys. That was freaking seamless. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, look at me. Ah, there's sap everywhere. Okay, so I'm just gonna separate this without breaking this root ball. Oh, that's amazing. Here's the bottom. Got a nice little root system, and we have two points here that can push out growth. So I've got one new plant here, which is exciting, and then I've got this second one here that I kind of want to separate as well, but I'm just scared. I know that you can slice anthuriums this way and not just horizontally. I've never done it before, but I'm a bit curious to try, because then I can have these roots be attached to this cutting and then keep this root system for the rest of the plant. I am intrigued, because the thing is like I want to I want to submerge this whole thing in the substrate, and if I do that, then this is going to be covered. And my neighbor's vacuuming. So I almost feel like I have to chop it off. Right? Right? I think I'm gonna attempt to go like this. Oh my gosh, I have never done this before. This might be the worst idea in the entire world, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna go like this, like literally slice it vertically. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm doing it. No risk, no reward. Wowza. Oh my gosh. This is the most insane chunk I've ever cut, and I don't even know. I don't know what I'm doing. I legit do not know what I'm doing. But the good news is this plant is separated from a good amount of roots, and I still have a nice little root system here to work with. So I am going to dip this into my rooting hormone, and then I'm gonna let it callus over. If you missed it in my million other videos, this is a mixture of cinnamon powder, rooting hormone, and sulfur dust. And I'm just dipping the open wound on them, and I'm gonna do it to all of these. Oh my gosh, this is insane. Since these two chunks are gonna be above the substrate, I'm gonna go ahead and get this repotted now so that it doesn't dry out. But I do want this to callus up a bit before I get it back into a substrate. So I'm gonna just let it chill out here for maybe an hour or so. And then I'm just gonna cover it with like a wet paper towel so that it doesn't dry out. Okay. Not good, not good. I actually have a whole entire bag of pond. Oh, that's not pond. I have an entire bag of pond in my car, but it's not mine, it's Aaron's, so I can't just take it. I'm gonna get this one in, oh, too small. Okay. Here. Ideally, I'd want something a little taller, but this is the best I've got right now. Haven't been able to find the taller ones of these pots for a while. Cutting number one, and then I'm just gonna top it with some moss. Oh, this table got messy so fast. Oh my gosh, my neighbor. Pot number one. My neighbor has been vacuuming for 20 entire minutes. I can't wait. I've just been sitting here like this, waiting. Okay, so anyway, here is cutting number one. I've got the exposed chunk on top of the substrate, Lechuzapan, perlite, and leca, and then moss up top, and then I'm just gonna fill water to about right here. Second cutting should fit in this one. It's a bit smaller. Perf, it looks so funny. No, immediately no. I've seen what I needed to see, and immediately no. I've got a Starbucks cup here. that is too tall, but better than that chunk sticking out completely. But I don't want it to be underneath for when the leaf comes out. So, what am I gonna do? 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 I know. I think, too big. It's still vacuuming, that's crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna stick this little 2-inch pot. Oh, come on. It's too big. No. Oh. Okay. O-M-G. Okay. I was gonna toss this cup out, but instead, I'm gonna just cut it a little bit. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm putting the plastic cup at the bottom here to elevate it a bit so that I don't have to fill it with that much pon. And now I'm gonna fill it. Second prop is in, same thing as the other one, and I will fill it to just above where the plastic cup is, so about right here. Okay, now I need to get cleaned up before I do the next one because I am getting mad anxiety. So the issue that I am foreseeing at the present moment is the fact that I am out of pon and perlite, and I've got this big plant to repot. Oh no. I mean, I have some, I just have to clean it, and I don't want to. At least not right now. So I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of doing the full boil, I am just going to soak this in boiling water from my my quick, what is that? My kettle. I'm just gonna have to make do because I'm way too lazy to do a full boil right now. So let me go do that and I'll be right back. Perfect, okay. So before I actually get this into the pot, I'm going to be removing some of the sheath. Some of the sheath that is on this stem so that I can get some growth along it, or like root growth, and I don't have any of this sort of like papery sheath covering the stem. I basically just want as much of the tissue exposed to the substrate as possible. So I just like to peel back all of this if I can, or as much as I can, and just clean it up so that it's nice and fresh going into the new substrate. Sorry, like literally cannot see anything. I'm not quite sure I would film at this angle again, even though the lighting is really good. It's just too hard to show you what I'm doing. I like to usually give up close shots if I can, but that's not quite working out. Feeling pretty good about this. Definitely got way more of the tissue exposed and was able to get off a good amount of sheath. So what I'm gonna do is stick it in this vessel. All right, she is in. I'm gonna wait about an hour before I put any water in here just because that freshly cut stem is still submerged under here. It has been about 30 minutes since the chop, but yeah, I'm just gonna let it callus even a little bit more before I get any kind of liquid in there. Last one is this Anthurium Dark Phoenix that has definitely been ready for soil a while ago, but has been doing not bad in moss. Hasn't been able to hold on to as many leaves at a time as I'd like, so I do think that that's a sign for me to get it into soil. I just realized that I told you about my nap time and didn't explain why, but if I'm talking a bit monotonously, it's because my brain says we're supposed to be asleep right now, and I'm not, and it's not happy. My one brain cell is not happy. I thought that I would have hit stem by now, but I haven't hit stem, so I'm a little bit nervous that this one's gonna be too little to propagate to, but I guess we won't know until we completely unearth it. These roots are just so delicious, I don't want to disturb them. You know what I'm craving? Oh my gosh, I really want like a good homemade roti and like a yellow curry with like potatoes and oh man, that sounds so good. I feel like I rotate between the same like, I don't know, 15 dishes at home and I just get so tired of it. My husband is totally the type that can eat the same thing every single day for an entire week, whereas I like sometimes even refuse to eat leftovers because my body will simply not allow it. It'll just reject it. These dang cravings. But yeah, I've been craving like a good roti and then, oh, like Mediterranean food. Oh, that sounds so good. Or like Korean food. I've been craving all of those little like Korean dishes that they give you when you go to like Korean barbecue. Tonight I am making it's like the only Korean side dish I know how to make, which is the pickled radish. It's like the easiest thing to make. It's just like vinegar. But I am making that tonight and I'm going to like add a little bit of like the kimchi powder to it and it's gonna be so good. But another thing that I really like is the sort of, is it pickled? It's not pickled, it's like the bean sprouts and you make it with like sesame oil. I attempted making that myself and it just didn't taste good. So I haven't wanted to attempt it since I wasted a whole bag of bean sprouts. Oh, it's long. Okay. I think I can actually get 2 propagations out of this, one for Carmen and maybe one to sell. I haven't sold plants in so long, but I need to. I miss the days where I could like buy a plant and just sell a cutting and sort of pay for the plant that I just bought. But it's pretty hard to sell plants nowadays locally because everybody imports, so like nobody wants to pay for propagations anymore. Which I get, I'm in the same boat, I import too, so I don't really have a reason to buy anything locally or from shops anymore. But I feel like this hybrid is not very common. So here's the stem. It's actually a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. I think that I can chop it into 3. What is that sound? Ow. Thought it was a ghost. Okay, I think I'm gonna start at the top. So I'm not gonna try, obviously, and separate any of the leaves, but I do want to keep some roots for the top cutting. So I think I'm gonna chop right here for my first cutting. And I'll get up so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, I can't. My table is so squeaky. Okay, so I'm gonna go right here for the first chop. And that way I still have, hey, let go. Let go. Why? Oh. So that way I still have some roots to sustain life on the top cutting. But now I've got this chunk here with quite a few auxiliary buds. I don't want to give Carmen too small of a chunk because I want her to have a good chance of getting something to grow from it. I'm just trying to locate an auxiliary bud. I think I see one right here. I'm not gonna try and separate this into any more than 2 because I think that would be kind of crazy. I know lots of people do like teeny tiny slivers of cuts, but I would rather have less propagations and a better chance at them making it. I think that's an auxiliary bud. They're so small. I'm gonna clean up this chunk a little bit to see if I can locate where the auxiliary buds are. I'm gonna chop it right here. I'm gonna keep this one and see if it does anything. And then this bigger one is gonna go to Carmen. And I feel like it's even big enough that she might be able to get another plant out of it. Like I think that there's at least 2 or 3 auxiliary buds on this little thing. So I don't know, we'll see. This shirt, it shrinks every time I wash it. I think after like 3 more washes, it's gonna be a bra. But I continue to wear it because it's like one of the only shirts that I have that doesn't have an itchy tag. And I just like the way it feels. But I am due for a wardrobe refresh, AKA going to the thrift store and refreshing my wardrobe because I rarely buy anything brand new, to be honest. And then I'll put this one, I think I'll put this one in a smaller one since this one's mine. Is this too small? Okay, here's a weird thing. Oh my gosh, this shirt is so annoying. Here's a thing. I feel like dentists or like anyone who works in the dental field is about to roast me so bad. But I just have to confess this, and I don't even know if it's a confession. I've read like differing things on the Google, and I don't know what's the right answer. But I'm not pregnant, but I have had this violent craving for lemons, like raw lemons. I've just been eating raw lemons like oranges. Like I fully like peel it off the rind and I just eat it. Like I eat it like an orange. Like it's sour, but it's not like as sour as I feel like it used to be. I don't know if it's because of COVID or what. I don't feel like I lost my senses, but for the past like 2-3 weeks, I've just, again, just this freaking craving for lemons. Like I just want it all, and I can eat like so much of it at one time. And I've heard that it's like not good for your teeth because it like strips the enamel. So they said if you eat a lemon, like don't brush your teeth right after, like wait a while, or like rinse with regular water or something. I want to keep this in the same one. I feel like now that I've cut it down a lot, like it can fit again, you know? But it's like, I kind of want something taller because then it's gonna like touch the floor. Okay, who wants you? So anyway, back to lemons. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've been eating so many of them. My skin has been really good though. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or if it's just the products that I'm using. But all I'm thinking about right now are lemons. Like it's bad. It's really bad. Oh my gosh, I'm choking on soil dust. So she's in. I like now that she can sit a little taller because in the exo she was kind of just like sitting on the floor and the leaves were like, yeah, it is a whole thing. But I'm gonna wait maybe like an hour before I water this because again, I just cut it. I want it to callus more. And that is that. But that's pretty much it. But before I go, I do want to make a cute little tag for Carmen. So let me grab my labeler. I just blew my nose and it was just all soil. So bad for you. And I think I'm gonna make a tag for this one too, just because it's one of my more pricier props and I don't want to forget about it. Can't tell if that's focused. Labeled. So that is it for today's video. Like I've mentioned before, the Wednesday videos are gonna be a little bit more chill, nothing too structured. I literally just plop down and I turn my camera on and just see what needs to be done. And it's kind of just a nice way for me to like get off of the computer because I'm editing most of the time. And yeah, so Wednesday videos are gonna be a little shorter, a little bit less structured, but yeah, I just kind of want to like throw something up. If you guys have some stuff to repot, we can do it together. But I'm gonna get cleaned up here, and then honestly, I am going to go to sleep because I am freaking exhausted. So thank you for watching another video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up because it helps Pudge and I's visibility a lot on YouTube. And I will see you guys on Saturday.